Muy buenas y bienvenidos un día más a un reto con Shurato. Y hoy volvemos con nuestro escritor de fantasía favorito, Alan Wake, en una aventura un poquillo rara, pero entretenida, donde vuelve a tener sus fantasías y sus desvaríos. Así que recordaros que estos son los stacks del canal morado, tenéis los enlaces por ahí abajo. Y dentro vídeo. Venga, pues vamos a la puerta, al hotel. Hijo de puta. La ha matado igualmente.
It's said that nobody knows what the future might bring, but for this man, it's no longer entirely true. A weaker man might simply give up, but the champion of light is an expert on destiny. Sometimes the puppet and puppeteer can be one and the same. Mount Redtooth, its top littered with man-made eyes that stare into the endless depths of space. Tonight, the champion of light will depend on them to pick out a message from the ether. As history repeats itself, the man remembers the patterns. He knows that he needs the missing part for the telescope.
Hijo de puta. A tope se ha puesto en un momento. Ah, no. No sé por qué me la ha vuelto a repetir. Cabrón. Ah, mira, aquí tenemos. ¿Qué nos dan aquí? Fusil de caza, nah. Mucho mejor este. El otro. ¡Joder! Es, por ejemplo, el coche de la doctora ahora no está donde estaba antes. Cabrones. Ahí se ha hecho hasta una bengala. A ver, ¿qué me cuentas ahora?
I know what you're thinking. Evil twin, supernatural powers. But most of the time, I just like to keep things basic. I want you to understand that.
Es simple, sí. ¿Ves? Simple, ¿eh? Un martillo, un cuchillo, un hacha.
To get your hands dirty? No batteries, no moving parts, just physics. That's technology you can depend on. It's a classic. Speaking of classics, you need to be careful with this one, though. If the victim suddenly twists, you might end up cutting yourself. It's not really a workhorse, but I'm a sucker for this style.
Hijo de puta.
Now this is more like it. You've got slip-resistant grip. Believe me, you really want that traction once you're wrist deep in somebody. The blade's stiff enough so it won't open by accident in your pocket, but it's still really easy to open with just one hand. Now that's a big thing for me. I know what you're thinking. It's too big, too heavy. But sometimes you just need the extra oomph. If you're talking intimidation, this is gonna do the job. Also great for dismemberings and whatnot. You know, the messy jobs. I can't tell you how many things I've MacGyvered with this stuff. Okay, now, guns. Not a big fan. I mean, how are you supposed to really connect with somebody with a bullet? I want you to understand that. I take pride in what I do. We can't both be worthless hacks, can we?
Hijo de puta. Luego, claro, salen las noticias que los videojuegos nos hacen violentos. Si nos explican hasta para qué sirve cada arma.
You'll have to forgive me, but this feels very strange. It seems like this has all happened before.
I have the replacement part for your telescope, Doctor.
All right. Let's get it installed.
Porque más este ni me ha puesto que es recomendado para mayores de 18 años. Este es como si fuera para todos los públicos.
I think we can give this a go. Although I have this strange feeling that something will
Don't
go
start
wrong.
it up yet. There's a problem with the coolant system.
Yes, that's right. I remember. All right, let me think. If they're sabotaging it, they'll be at the primary coolant pipe outside. If you can secure it, we should be ready to pick up the signal. That is why you're here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'll take care of it.
Before you go, if you have the time, I'd appreciate if you came up here and explained a few things. All of this is very strange to me.
Vamos a hablar con ella, venga, va. A ver si conseguimos meter picha.
Hello.
I don't quite know what's going on, but I seem to remember having had this encounter before.
It's not deja vu, Doctor. This has happened before. We're caught in a time loop.
That's utterly insane. How could that be?
I can't really explain it. I suppose I could call it magic.
I don't believe in magic.
Neither do I. But I can't argue with what I've experienced. Listen, what matters now is the signal. The last time we only caught a part of it. I need the rest of it. Whether you believe me or not, you want to look into this as much as I do, right?
Yes. All right.
I realize that you have trouble believing this.
That's an understatement. I can't deny that what you say resonates with me on some level I don't pretend to understand. But for all I know, I'm simply delusional.
But it's not just you. I've experienced the same thing as you. Doesn't that prove something, at least?
Maybe. On the other hand, given your appearance, and the fact that you're trying to convince me that I'm not insane, perhaps you're merely a hallucination that accompanies my delusions.
You're not having a psychotic episode, Doctor. For what it's worth, I'm a skeptic by nature. I completely understand your reluctance to believe me.
There are people caught so deep in their psychosis that they retroactively manufacture memories and beliefs that conform to the situation at hand.
Sure, but you have to stop second-guessing yourself at some point, if you want to get something done.
Ah, ya está. Sí. Pues venga, vamos a proteger las torres de refrigeración. Y muchísimas más gracias por haber llegado hasta aquí. Eso supongo que te está entreteniendo el vídeo o te está ayudando, vete tú a saber. Por aquí abajo os dejo las redes sociales, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, bla 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 bla, donde podéis venir a verme a cada día, de lunes a jueves en Twitch, viernes y sábado y domingo, viernes descanso, obviamente, algún día hay que tener de fiesta. Así que os dejo con el vídeo y hasta pronto. La verdad es que esa camisa cuadro de los años 90, macho, le queda como el orto. Ay, no me jodas. Ah, vale, para abajo sí que puedo ir. ¡Ay, cabrón! ¡Ay, cabrón! ¿Dónde estás? Aquí estás. ¿Dónde está? ¡Hijo de puta! ¡Se ha bugueado! Venga, ya no me jodas. Ahora. ¡Cabrón!
These beings hate the light, am I correct? You should be able to turn on the light to secure the area that way.
Good to go.
All right. I'll start looking for the signal. Please, head back.
Oh. Oh, no. Oh.
I guess they didn't like that.
No me digas que no le ha gustado. Mierda. ¡Hola! Hijo de puta. Hijo de puta, no me deja curarme. Venga, doctor, ábreme la puerta de una puta vez. Espero que esté la puerta abierta. ¡Ay!
It's working. Please, come up here.
You find the signal?
Yes, I don't think it's quite the same thing we had, the last time. Still, we're definitely picking it up.
Are we getting the complete signal now?
I'm afraid not. Take a look at it yourself. I'm printing out a hard copy now. I'd like to ask you a question or two before that, though, if you don't mind.
What's on your mind, Doctor?
Most people would find these events extremely disturbing, provided that they survive these creatures, that is. You seem to be quite adept at dealing with the situation. Why is that?
Yes, I was involved in... It's a complex story. I was in this small town, and a horrible thing from another dimension kidnapped my wife and manipulated me into writing this horror story that came true. I learned to fight it with light, and I managed to contain it and free my wife.
No.
But I was trapped in its world.
Are you serious?
No liberaste a tu
Absolutely.
mujer. Tu mujer estaba muerta.
So, I'm used to reality working in strange or even impossible ways. And I fought these things, not exactly like this, but close enough for a good while now. Of course, I have certain advantages. Was there anything else?
What did you mean when you said you have advantages?
At the risk of sounding like a lunatic, reality is much more fluid than people think. It can be influenced.
I didn't take you for a mystic.
I'm not. I'm a writer. And under certain conditions, I can, for lack of a better word, rewrite reality. Change things.
That's absurd.
But it works.
Assuming I believe this, why don't you simply, I don't know, write yourself some superpowers?
It's not quite that simple. You need to follow certain laws of drama, I suppose. You need to think about consistency and symbolism. Often what you write isn't anywhere near as important as what you imply. There are things out there that will take advantage of your mistakes.
You really believe in this?
Don't look at me like that. You've experienced some of this yourself.
I will gladly admit that something exceedingly strange is going on. But this idea that you're somehow altering reality with your writing is ridiculous. You're essentially saying you're controlling my actions. Leaving aside the rational arguments against this, what gives you the right?
Well, it's more like having a destiny. A path you're on. You're not aware of it, but there it is. If somebody changes it, what difference does it make? It's what every writer does. If you write something that affects one of the characters, they don't really know about that.
I'm not a character. Are you saying that it's all right to take advantage of someone if they aren't aware of it?
Look, all I meant was that if you're genuinely making all your own decisions, and those decisions lead to whatever destiny you have, what practical difference does it make?
I suppose that depends on whether our destinies are determined by things like physics and probabilities, or natural reality, which is presumably neutral and impartial, or by some kind of an intelligence. If it's the latter, that intelligence makes choices based on some criteria. If we suffer as a result of those choices, there's a moral and ethical element involved, regardless of whether we're aware of its manipulations. Wouldn't you agree?
I
Que para
take this very well. I thought you'd be hangry.
I suppose I would be if I thought you could actually do this.
Vaya rollazo metafísico que acaban de meterse los dos.
Another printout. Another signal fragment. The message is still not complete, but it's another piece of the weapon he has built against his adversary. Mere words on a piece of paper, but in the right hands, they will hold back the darkness.
Bueno, y ahora al autocine a por la versión final ya. O no. O sí. O no. ¿Quién sabe? ¿Cuántas veces hay que repetir esto?
The last time the man came to the drive-in, it did not end well. He hopes to avoid that fate this time. He hopes that what he has brought with him to this place is enough.
A ver. Ah, sí. Si os alejáis mucho, como vamos a hacer ya, es, te sale ahí la niebla esta y si sigues avanzando te termina matando. Te dice, no, no, por ahí no es. Tienes que seguir el camino que te decimos. Sigue el camino. Sigue la luz.
Serena's probably out of her mind again. But I'm gonna need that key so I can get the power back on.
Sí, pero lo vamos a ver después de la pausa. Sed buenos, sed felices. Hasta ahora.